That frozen lasagna you're heating up for dinner tonight contains ingredients you'd never use if you were cooking from scratch. We're talking about mechanically separated meat, hydrolyzed vegetable proteins, and enough sodium in one serving to hit half your daily limit. And the companies making these frozen meals know exactly what they're putting in those boxes. Independent nutritional analysis has revealed that most frozen meals sold in Australian supermarkets contain ultra-processed ingredients linked to obesity, heart disease, and metabolic disorders. These aren't just convenient meals. These are industrial food products designed to sit on shelves for months while tasting acceptable enough that you'll buy them again. Over the next minutes, we're exposing 6 frozen food brands sold in every Woolworths and Coles across Australia. Number 6. McCain Healthy Choice Meals. Let's start with McCain Healthy Choice, because the name itself is misleading. These meals are marketed as the sensible option for people watching their health. Lower calories, reduced fat, portion controlled. Sounds perfect for someone trying to eat better without cooking from scratch. Here's the problem. When you reduce fat and calories in processed food, you have to replace that flavor and satisfaction with something. McCain does this by loading these meals with sodium and flavor enhancers. A single Healthy Choice beef lasagna contains 680 milligrams of sodium. That's about 30% of your recommended daily intake from one small frozen meal. The ingredient list tells the real story. You'll find hydrolyzed vegetable protein, which is a flavor enhancer that works similarly to MSG. Your brain registers it as savory and satisfying, even though there's minimal actual meat in the meal. The beef content in that lasagna is around 12%. The rest is pasta, water, modified starch, and various thickeners. McCain uses something called mechanically separated meat in several of their products. This is meat paste created by forcing bones and carcasses through high-pressure sieves. What comes out is a slurry that technically counts as meat, but bears little resemblance to actual beef or chicken. It's then formed into shapes and added to meals. The vegetables in Healthy Choice meals are typically rehydrated from powder or frozen pellets. They've been cooked, frozen, transported, stored, and will be reheated again when you microwave the meal. By the time you eat them, the nutritional value is minimal and the texture is mushy. What really bothers me about McCain Healthy Choice is the deceptive marketing. They put healthy right in the name, slap some green on the packaging, and show fresh vegetables on the front. Then you flip it over and find 38 ingredients, including multiple preservatives, emulsifiers, and stabilizers. That's not healthy. That's industrial food engineering designed to seem healthy. At around $6 per meal, you're paying for the convenience and the health halo. But you're getting a sodium bomb with minimal real meat and vegetables that have been processed into mush. Number 5. Bird's eye vegetables. Bird's eye is synonymous with frozen vegetables in Australia. The little green boxes have been in freezers for generations, and their plain frozen vegetables are actually decent. Just vegetables that have been blanched and frozen. But their vegetables in sauce range is a completely different story. Take their creamy bacon and pea vegetables. Sounds simple enough. Peas, bacon, cream sauce. Except when you read the ingredients, you find modified maize starch, vegetable oils, milk solids, salt, sugar, flavor enhancers, 621 and 635, and preservatives. The sauce is thickened with starches and emulsified with industrial oils rather than made with real cream. Flavor enhancer. 621 is monosodium glutamate, MSG. Flavor enhancer. 635 is disodium inosonate and disodium guanylate, which work together with MSG to create an intense savory taste that overrides your natural satiety signals. These compounds trick your brain into thinking the food is more satisfying than it actually is. The bacon in these products is reformed bacon, not actual bacon pieces. It's made from meat scraps, water, and binders pressed into bacon-like shapes. The smoke flavor is added chemically, rather than from actual smoking. Bird's eye vegetables in sauce also contain surprisingly high amounts of sodium. A single serving can have 400 to 500 milligrams of sodium. For vegetables that should be a low sodium food, that's excessive. The sodium is necessary because the sauce is made from powder and oil, rather than real dairy, and salt masks the artificial taste. The vegetables themselves have been sitting frozen for months, sometimes over a year depending on storage and distribution. While freezing preserves nutrients better than many preservation methods, these vegetables are lower quality to begin with. They're often end-of-season vegetables, or ones that didn't meet fresh market standards. What frustrates me about bird's eye vegetables in sauce is that people buy them thinking they're getting a vegetable serving with their meal. But between the MSG, the sodium, the vegetable oils, and the modified starches, you're eating more sauce than vegetables. And that sauce is mostly chemicals designed to taste creamy without using actual cream. Number 4. Lean cuisine. Lean cuisine markets itself as diet-friendly frozen meals, lower calories, controlled portions, designed for people trying to lose weight. The brand has been around since the 1980s and built its reputation on helping people manage weight without cooking. Here's what lean cuisine doesn't advertise. To reduce calories while keeping meals shelf-stable and somewhat satisfying, they rely heavily on fillers, gums, and flavor enhancers. A lean cuisine chicken carbonara contains modified starch, vegetable gums, flavor enhancers, and enough sodium to make your blood pressure spike. The chicken in lean cuisine meals is often mechanically separated chicken combined with soy protein isolate. Real chicken breast is expensive. Mechanically separated chicken mixed with soy protein is cheap and can be molded into chicken-like pieces that look legitimate on the packaging. Lean cuisine uses something called isolated soy protein in many meals. This is soy that's been processed to remove everything except the protein. It's used to bulk up meat content without using actual meat. While soy protein isn't necessarily harmful in moderation, isolated soy protein has been processed with hexane and other solvents to extract it. The pasta and rice in lean cuisine meals is always white, refined carbohydrates. Combined with the low fat content, these meals cause blood sugar spikes followed by crashes. You eat a lean cuisine at noon and you're starving again by 2 o'clock because it was mostly refined carbs with minimal protein and fat to keep you satisfied. The calorie count is achieved by making portions very small. A lean cuisine meal is typically 250 to 300 grams, which is not enough food for most adults. So people eat the lean cuisine, feel unsatisfied, and end up snacking later. The calorie savings disappear when you factor in the snacks needed to feel full. What really bothers me about lean cuisine is the marketing to people trying to lose weight. These people are making an effort to improve their health, and lean cuisine is selling them ultra-processed meals with mechanically separated meat, industrial oils, and massive sodium. That's not supporting weight loss. That's exploiting people's desire to be healthier while selling them junk. Number 3. Steggles frozen chicken products. Steggles dominates the Australian frozen chicken market. Their crumbed chicken products, tenders, schnitzels, and nuggets are in every freezer section. Parents buy them because kids love them. But what's actually in these products should concern anyone feeding them to children. Steggles chicken tenders contain around 60 to 65% chicken. The rest is crumb coating, water, and binders. The chicken itself is mechanically recovered chicken combined with chicken skin and fat. It's not breast meat. It's whatever parts of the chicken weren't valuable enough to sell fresh. The crumb coating is made with wheat flour, vegetable oils, and flavor enhancers. The oil used for the coating is typically canola or sunflower oil, which oxidizes when frozen and then heated. You're eating oxidized oils with every bite, and oxidized oils are inflammatory. These products contain MSG under various names. You'll see flavor enhancers 621, 627, and 631 on the ingredient list. These are all forms of glutamate that make processed food taste more savory than it actually is. Kids who eat these regularly develop preferences for MSG-enhanced food and find plain chicken boring. The sodium in Steggles chicken products is excessive for children. A serving of chicken tenders can contain 400 to 500 milligrams of sodium. Children need far less sodium than adults, and regularly feeding them high-sodium processed food sets them up for hypertension and cardiovascular problems later in life. Steggles also uses multiple preservatives to keep these products shelf-stable in the freezer for months. While the preservatives are technically food-safe, they're not something you'd use if you were making crumbed chicken at home. What bothers me most about Steggles is the targeting of children. The packaging shows crispy golden chicken that looks appealing. The reality is mechanically recovered chicken paste, oxidized vegetable oils, MSG, and excessive sodium. Parents buying these thinking they're giving kids protein are actually feeding them ultra-processed food that trains young palates to prefer industrial flavors. Number 2. On the menu frozen meals. On the menu is Woolworth's house brand for frozen meals. These are positioned as affordable, complete dinners for people who don't have time to cook. The packaging shows restaurant-quality meals. The ingredients list reveals ultra-processed industrial food. On the menu, beef lasagna contains mechanically separated beef, modified starch, vegetable oils, and 720 milligrams of sodium per serving. The actual beef content is around 10%. What you're mainly eating is pasta, thickened tomato sauce, and white sauce made from milk powder and vegetable oil, rather than real cream and butter. The pasta in these meals is cooked, assembled, frozen, and then reheated. By the time you eat it, the pasta has been cooked twice. It's always mushy and overcooked because it can't maintain texture through that process. On the Menu uses a long list of additives to create the illusion of home-cooked food. You'll find thickeners like guar gum and xanthan gum, emulsifiers to keep fats from separating, and preservatives to extend freezer life. A home-cooked lasagna contains pasta, meat, tomatoes, cheese, and seasonings. On the Menu, lasagna contains over 30 ingredients, including multiple additive numbers. These meals also contain added sugar. A savory meal like beef stroganoff or chicken chasseur contains sugar to balance the excessive salt and enhance flavor. You're eating sugar in dishes that shouldn't contain added sugar at all. The vegetables in On the Menu meals are the lowest quality frozen vegetables available. They're cooked until soft before being added to the meal, then frozen, then reheated. The final texture is mushy, and the nutritional value is minimal. What frustrates me about On the Menu is it's Woolworth's house brand, which means they control the entire process. They could choose to use better ingredients and cleaner formulations. Instead, they've created ultra-processed meals with mechanically separated meat, industrial oils, massive sodium, and dozens of additives. And they're selling them to budget-conscious Australians as affordable meal solutions. Number 1. Nando's frozen meals. And here we are at number 1, the worst frozen food brand sold in Australia. Nando's frozen meals are particularly offensive because Nando's built its reputation on flame-grilled chicken and peri-peri sauce. People trust the brand. They assume frozen Nando's meals will taste like restaurant Nando's. They're completely different products. Nando's frozen chicken strips contain chicken, but it's not the flame-grilled chicken breast you'd get in a restaurant. It's mechanically recovered chicken combined with chicken skin and fat, formed into strips, and coated in crumb. The actual chicken breast content is minimal. The peri-peri flavor comes from flavor compounds and MSG, not from real peri-peri marinade. Restaurant Nando's marinates chicken in a mix of chilies, lemon, garlic, and herbs. Frozen Nando's uses flavor powder with added MSG to create a similar taste with none of the real ingredients. These products contain over 500 milligrams of sodium per serving. The peri-peri flavor is created through excessive salt combined with chili extract and flavor enhancers. It's not authentic peri-peri marinade. It's industrial seasoning designed to approximate the taste. Nando's frozen meals also use vegetable oils in the coating and marinade. These oils oxidize during freezing and storage, then oxidize further when you reheat the meal. You're eating rancid oils with every bite. The vegetables included in Nando's meals are standard low-quality frozen vegetables that have been cooked multiple times. The rice is pre-cooked, frozen, and then reheated. By the time you eat it, it's dry and clumpy because rice doesn't freeze and reheat well. What makes Nando's frozen meals the absolute worst is the betrayal of consumer trust. People love Nando's restaurants. They associate the brand with quality chicken and authentic peri-peri flavor. So when they see Nando's frozen meals in the supermarket, they trust they're getting similar quality. They're not. They're getting mechanically recovered chicken paste, MSG-enhanced fake peri-peri, oxidized oils, and massive sodium. It's industrial processed food wearing the Nando's name. At $7 to $8 per meal, Nando's frozen is expensive for what you're getting. You could buy actual chicken breast and make real peri-peri chicken at home for less money and get infinitely better quality. Here's what you need to understand about the frozen food industry. These products are engineered for shelf life and profit margins, not nutrition. The companies making them use the cheapest possible ingredients: mechanically separated meat, vegetable oils, refined carbohydrates, and enough sodium and MSG to make it taste acceptable. So, what should you buy instead? If you need frozen convenience, stick to simple ingredients. Plain frozen vegetables without sauces. Plain frozen fish without coatings. Simple frozen fruits. These are minimally processed and retain most of their nutrition. Better yet, batch cook on weekends. Make a big pot of curry, lasagna, or stew and freeze portions yourself. You control every ingredient. You know exactly what's in your food. And it costs less than buying frozen meals while being infinitely healthier. If this video opened your eyes to what's really in frozen meals, hit that subscribe button right now. Share this with your family and friends because most Australians have no idea what they're actually eating when they microwave these meals.